Anyways, we're live. Hey,
Oh.
Orange Podcast Bad, everybody. We had we had trouble with the stream on Tuesday too, and I checked. The account's good. Like it's got all the right credit card information. Let me see if make sure it's up over on X. Let's take
Dude,
a look here.
I've got to tell you something that's really freaky.
Yeah.
So my contracts person, uh, Stephanie Ham, she says, "Hey, I heard you do a podcast with a couple of fellas." And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you know. Um, the leader of the organization does it all week. He's got some Canadian guy, just kind of playing it off. And she says, "Are you Orange Podcast Bad?" And I went, "Are
Holy
you
shit.
fucking kidding me, dude? Hey,
Holy shit.
I gotta
Yeah,
take this. Give me a minute."
absolutely. Well, this is gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Wow. We've been found. Uh-oh. We'll hang out here. For all of those that you listen to this as audio later, Paul's got to take a call. So I'm just filibustering. In the meantime, I'm just hearing this information. Paul, I'm sure, will continue to tell us once he's off the phone. Oh, but yeah, they found us. They found Orange Podcast Bad. I'm glad all of you have too. We appreciate everybody who listens on whatever platform you listen to our podcast on. We really appreciate it.
Oh my God, dude. Hey, I wanted to show you this though.
That's awesome.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
awesome?
Hell yeah.
My work wife, Scott, bought me this for my birthday,
That's
and it's
awesome.
really cool. Yep.
So, what were they? How did they find Orange Podcast bad? Did they just stumble across it?
They, dude, I don't know what they did, but the contracts person was like, "Hey, are you on Orange Podcast Bad?" And I'm like, "How the yes, but how do you know?"
Right?
And she said, "I don't want to sound like a creep, but you know, all of us really like you, Paul, and so I was just doing a little
falsely that there's something
checking and
embarrassing
you know
Search, yeah, right. Searching the
yeah,
internet.
and
she does
it
without his lawyer.
when your name
How many
came
times
up associated
against silent
with Orange Podcast
straight
Bad.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, never better. Long
Good.
long week. Yeah, long week, but whatever. Aren't they always?
They are. So, Paul, did they think good or bad about this, or it was just anecdotal?
No, it was anecdotal, Sean. They just they were like, yeah, we came across this, and I said, well, did you listen to any of the past podcasts and stuff? And Stephanie was like, no, we just came, we were just looking, came across your name, and your name was affiliated with Orange Podcast Bad. So, I told my friends, you know, hey, maybe we need to listen to this.
Right?
And so I wrote, I went back to her and I said, hey, babe, are you? And she said, well, not yet, but we're gonna.
Yeah. Welcome to hiring hairstylists.
Right? You go dig through their internet
Yeah,
social media history.
this sounds great. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, okay.
It
Right?
was so funny, JC, though, because these are my coworkers and I don't share any of my personal, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
share my personal business or any of that.
Well, and I'm
And
trying to think. I've never put your full name into a title. So I don't know how it got into a web crawler, which is how search engines work.
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it might say Paul, Sean, and John, like in
Yeah,
a
but
title.
not
I never
Paul
put
Gant.
full names because
Huh.
that's how web crawlers would have attached this to Orange Podcast Bad. Could just go search on Google or Bing or Yahoo, Orange Podcast Bad. You'll find them on every one of the search engines. Give you links
Orange,
to all the shows.
Orange Podcast Bad with Bitch McCommunist. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I don't know. We'll have to figure out why. That's funny that your coworkers found you and found the podcast. I hope they watch. It doesn't sound like they're real interested.
No. No. In fact, you know how I handle that, Paul, being in the same age group that you are. I finally figured it out after about 9 or 10 years of treading water and losing money that to communicate with the 19 to 25-year-old female, I needed 30 something year old females that understood things to translate what the guy in the corner office is talking about and why
Yep.
why he doesn't get it. No, he really
Yep.
does get it. Okay. But he doesn't say it in a way that you get.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And a few more personal things. I mean, I've never had a company car before, but I have Reggie Jackson working for me, and I can give you names or whatever. But the fact is, this young lady is about 35. She's mixed ethnicity, which doesn't make any difference at all. But she's got the Morgan Freeman, young Oprah personality. So she drags all these people with her. Oh yeah, yeah. She drags all these people with her. And guess who drives that car every day to and from work? She
Hmm.
does, because her car's getting repoed. All right. And I had to finish up all the paperwork to get her approved as a certified whatever. I won't go into details. And I had her email open, and man, the stuff that's coming in. Uh, let's just say that I've changed the course of her life with those wheels. All
Wow.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Impressive.
But unfortunately, I knew who to do it with. But unfortunately, now she doesn't want to work quite as hard, et cetera. But the
Oh,
fact is,
sure.
but the pin action I get from her is amazing. I don't want her to kill herself. I just want her there when I really have to have her, and she's done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And is she one of the translators between old dude and young girl?
She is absolutely the main translator.
Oh, awesome.
I have a rule follower, who's all about the inspections. I have a barber who, has been through a couple marriages, but absolutely has perfect touch with male and female guests, and can always sell retail, and can always execute and closes the clients outright. Now she's learning the front desk. She's helping the other gal at the front desk with winning language and all the rest of that stuff. So they're turning out to be a dynamite team, and they're doing all the social media. They're updating the website. They've got talent out the ass for everything that I need to have done. And one of them will say, well, why don't you sit down and do some of this? And I go, I can't do it nearly as well as they're doing it, but
Right.
Sure.
they understand what I want.
Yeah.
And so it's much better for them to do it and for me to set them up to win. That's actually my job. And
Of
you can
course
try
it
to
is.
write it down.
That's a primary function of leadership, dude.
Right. You can't write it down every day what you're going to do, because it's
No,
going to
you
be
can't.
something different.
No, because
But you
yeah.
right. You got to cut little deals. You got to, you just have to navigate around the crud. And not like the rule follower didn't like something she was doing. So here's John thinking, okay, what do I got to have? She's worried about liability. She's worried about this, worried about that. I now have a written statement from the insurance agent that there's no liability in the salon for this behavior. And
Right.
I was gonna trot that out, but then I found out the situation isn't gonna repeat this weekend, so it's in my desk, and I know right where it is, and
Yep.
I know right before we get to the moment again, I'm gonna spring this and say, hey, I listened to you and I understood the risk and everything else, and here I got it. We're covered, baby. So don't even worry if she's going crazy.
Right.
Yeah. No. This is, and if someone says, well, why are you still doing this? I'm like, the hell else am I going to do? All right. I mean, I've been at this 10 years. I could go back and lick and stick. You think I'd be happy counting to 100? No,
Not really, but dude,
no,
Right?
have
Yeah.
you
I only count to 100 for you guys.
have you seen the modern pill counters? They're freaking
Yes.
with the cameras and they're wild.
The
Wild.
laser eyes, the robots, the arms, all, yeah, they'll even close the bottle for you.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. When we did everything manually with a weighted scale, way back in the day.
Oh, hell,
We
dude.
we would keep paper clips because we double count, especially on controls. We'd double count. Somebody count, then someone else would count, and go, "Yep, there's 30 here." And the scale would say, "No, there's only 29." And so we'd just drop a paper clip in it and it go ding ding ding, and then
Yeah,
we.
there it is. I had a guy in my pharmacy that it would always insist he got shorted. So I put in his middle name in the system as Double Count. So his labels would come out Daniel Double Count and then his last name.
Yeah.
And everybody knew, and he knew it. Your last name on this prescription bottle is Double Count. So no, you're not going to call me up and tell me that you didn't get this.
Nope. Well, so everybody's losing their shit on the internet because it's good for easy clicks. The left is saying that Trump failed. And the right is saying that Trump was victorious. And I say this was just a first meeting that wasn't going to lead to anything other than potentially more meetings or potentially more sanctions. And the sanctions, we all know, doesn't affect Russia. Doesn't matter how much you sanction them because they'll trade with China.
Well, I think Trump is hunting big game here. I don't think that the Ukraine war is his primary objective in this meeting whatsoever.
No.
I think he wants to peel Russia off of China. That's the game.
That's what I saw out of the whole thing, is that he's like, let's just go ahead and finally normalize trade between the USSR and the West. Let's stop with this Cold War bullshit.
Yeah. And Vlad, I want to encourage you to do it. It'll be good for you. If you don't want to do it, 150% tariff, and we'll just smoke your ass. Yeah.
Right.
So your choice.
Got any thoughts, Paul?
Yep, I do.
Lay them on us.
So, what is significant is that Putin is bringing at least a half a dozen senior business leaders to Alaska with him.
Yes.
So they absolutely want to make some kind of trade deal. There's no doubt about that. And I just take exception to all this bullshit about Putin want to reestablish the Soviet Union and he wants to bring he doesn't. He wants food on his shelves. He wants to trade oil. He wants to trade corn, ethanol, and that kind of stuff. He just wants to be a fellow that gets trade done. And all this fucking bullshit about him being some kind of fucking Stalin-esque leader is just not true. It's just bullshit. And I get so sick and tired. I'm telling you, I get so sick and tired of these retired fucking 4-stars on Fox News and this and that and the other going, oh. They have no fucking idea. The dude wants to make money for his country. Period. And that's it.
And if he could normalize security on top of that with a group of countries like the United States and maybe El Salvador or Hungary, he would absolutely love the shit out of that.
He would absolutely do it. Here's the other thing.
What he doesn't want is a militarized border with constant agitation from CIA biolabs and all the rest of that nonsense within driving distance of his big cities. It's just, why would we expect him to want that? Do we want those fucking cartels, within rifle shot of LA? No, we don't. And should we take action to get them out of there? I don't think we'll have to take the same kind of action he took, because I saw where Mexico is ready to turn some of the worst ones over to us now to avoid that outcome. Now that they saw that stuff dropped on Iran, they understand, hey, you could be next. And you keep protecting these cartels because they're paying you off, great, but we can't have this. All right. So if you want them to keep paying you off, have them step back 2 or 3 steps, leave our young people alone. All
Right.
right. And he's got the same problem in Ukraine. He does. It's the same thing, but it's us. All right. I don't want to get crazy about it,
Well,
but
no. Let me break in there, because the people who watch TV, and I've been out here with Mom for, I don't know, a year and a half. We help, just helping each other out, and she still watches TV, but she's been at least listening to me when we have dinner. And we had dinner tonight, and she said, "So Putin and Trump are in Alaska?" And I was like, "Yeah." She rolls her eyes, and I said, "It did nothing. You're not going to learn anything new out of this." I said this, and then I looked at her and said, "Listen, this goes back to Victoria Nuland. We're talking in 2013,
13. Yep.
earlier
14,
than that,
State
yeah.
Department." I was like, I said, "You want to know who the aggressor was, Mom? It was our intel. It was Western Intel. That's the aggressor in this." And she was like,
100%. 100%.
"Oh, I remember those names." I was like, "Yeah, those are the people that did this. This has nothing to do with Putin. Nothing."
No.
He's simply, we could go into detail, and we have before, but he's simply defending himself from an invading NATO.
The Azov Nazis are not good guys. Okay, they're just
No.
not. And there they are, harassing the shit out of Russian-speaking people in those areas. And Putin basically said, I've had enough of this, and I'm going to go in there and put a stop to it. And that's what this is all about. And the Azov Nazis were sponsored by us.
Right, right. Paul, did you see that comment Putin made? He said he was standing at the podium and said, President Trump is right. If he would have been president at the time back then, this war would have never happened.
Never happened. He said that out loud. And that shows you that he is not a monger. He does not want all of this stuff. And shame on us for the CIA installing little fucking punk ass Zelensky. I just hate that fucker.
Me too. You look at, because I've been watching this the whole time, but I'm also a political junkie. I remember setting an alarm and waking up at 3 a.m. so I could watch a translated version live of Putin's State of the Union speech, where he spoke for 2 hours on the war.
Right. Yeah.
So I've been following this thing very closely since the start, and it's been his position the entire time. You keep putting rockets on my fence.
Right.
Get your rockets away.
If you don't quit, I'm gonna fuck
I'm
you
going
up.
in. And he says, "I'm going in." And then he lined up, a couple 100,000 troops on the border and said, "Again, I'm telling you, move your rocket systems.
Your fucking ass back. And if you don't, I'm gonna kick your ass."
And on top of that, he only needed one thing. Tell me,
pussy,
this nation is not going to be in the U. It's not going to be in the EU, and it's not going to be in NATO. That's all I need, and then I won't do this. Now Zelensky, Biden, no, they're coming into NATO. Okay, FAFO.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
Right.
FO, baby. Yep.
And then he goes in and he takes back all of the ethnically Russian territory.
Yeah.
And I totally believe that I don't care what Zelensky says.
No.
I believe with Trump negotiating or being the mediator that the Donbass, the Donetsk, and Crimea will remain Russian and become
They're going to have
recognized
to
as
be.
Russian.
Those people are native Russian speakers. They have always considered themselves Russian. There was no fucking Ukraine before 1994. So shut your fucking pie hole and stop it.
Guys, you're probably forgetting something. Is that I'm the one out of the three of us that's actually been there because that's where my kids are from.
It's true.
The Donetsk government seat, the government office where they issue passports. I've been there. Everyone in there is a Russian. Everything about it is Russian. Everything is written in Russian. Their passports are in Russian.
Right.
All of it.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Well, and they
and that was 1990. That was 1993. Okay, we're not even talking about when it was broken up. I mean, that's where that's how they're oriented.
Right, and from what I remember too, is also that they really didn't care if it was called Ukraine, as long as they could have their Russian Orthodox Church and go about their business, go to work, buy goods, live in a house.
An asshole closed it and arrested the priest.
Sure did. Sure did.
And Tucker Carlson, who Mark Levin doesn't like too much, and Tucker's got his own angle on things.
Yeah, whatever.
He was the one guy who put it to Mike Pence. He says, "Hey, Mike, you're a Christian man, right? You're a Christian. Well, yeah, I believe blah 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 blah. What do you think of the way that Christians are being treated in Ukraine? What?
Right?
They're closing churches. They're arresting priests. Do you have anything to say about this, Mike?
Yeah. Bad. Pence is still in the Cold War mindset.
Short man bad. Putin bad. Short man bad.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I got a hard stop at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So I gotta go. I love you guys, but
everything okay?
No, yeah, everything's okay. But I promised my wife some things, and
sure, Well, go do that and stay married.
You're the
the rest of us.
You're the one out of the three that's still successfully married, so keep doing what you're doing.
You better do what you do.
That's how it works, bro. Yep. All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
See
Paul.
ya.
Yep. See ya.
Well, and the TV people frustrate me because even today they're just flat out lies. I turned on the TV. I think I watched the free Newsmax, which they're okay. But it was a free feed to watch the presser, and even on Newsmax, they're like, I don't understand why he didn't take questions, and I'm like, why the hell would he take questions? Nothing has been negotiated. No. You all said that this was going to be the biggest finalist meeting, and either he's going to succeed or fail. And I was like, you misread the entire thing.
No, they're working on a trade deal. Look who you brought with them.
Which is exactly what they're doing. Before Trump, when Trump was running for office, he had mentioned Ukraine, and he said rare earth minerals. And Putin gave a speech the next day and said, we would love to have American companies mine rare earth minerals inside of Russia
Yeah,
to,
I think
to
he still would.
totally make it happen. I do too, and I think that's gonna be one of the trade deals. Is
I think. Look. I think that Putin, is KGB, obviously, whatever, but he trusts Trump way more than he trusts Xi.
oh, I agree with that. Um, also, Putin's not a dumb guy. He can see
No,
that Xi is running on fumes. Their economy, they're reporting it falsely, of course, it's CCP.
what's new?
But
Yeah,
that they are running on fumes. They got almost nothing left over there
no, they're
uh,
screwed.
as far as an economy.
Well, this is what I keep trying to tell people when all of this was going on, and I'm like, the arrogance of the European elites thinking that they could work with U.S. Democrats to bankrupt the United States, and then with the same magic that was used at the civil rights legislation, where they spray painted the Republicans as racists that the Democrats already were, and all of a sudden you'd keep the blacks voting Democrat for the next 200 years. I mean, they were going to try some sort of magic trick the same way with that was sliding China in to pay for everything instead of us and make them the world reserve currency, and leave us bankrupt in the dust. I mean, that's what the Great Reset was supposed to be all about.
Oh, 100%. But
Yeah.
and look, I couldn't tell you. Chuck Schumer's about 5,000 years old. Nancy Pelosi. I mean, and they totally were there for the
The whole
Cold
thing.
War, right?
The whole thing.
Uh,
Yeah.
but their own offices will tell them in a staff meeting, China is going broke faster than you can imagine. And then they come out and they're like, we should trade with China. We need to do more business with China. We love China because they want all the power for their party, just like the CCP has.
And China, let's face it, the Bush-Scowcroft deal to get the Chinese slave labor made most of them fabulously wealthy beyond their wildest dreams by shutting down our jobs, by hollowing out the middle class in the United States, by shipping all the jobs overseas for slave labor. So we still supply the materials, send the materials over there to get assembled, and then they send them back at premium prices here and dump them on the rest of the world. What a grift, huh? I mean, how did something like Shark Tank, okay, small item, but remember, anytime somebody would come in with a good idea, Mark Cuban, hey, you can get that manufactured in China, and we can get we get the unit price of that thing down to 75 cents, and you can charge $49.95. Hey, you're going to be a millionaire. Let's have a glass of champagne, the group hug, way to go. Lori will get it on QVC, and you'll all get rich. I mean, come on.
Look,
That's what we're watching.
I liked Reagan for a lot of things. Two things I didn't like Reagan about what was the mass amnesty, which turned California blue. It did,
I
and
know. No, I
and
agree.
it was he thought he could defeat communism by introducing capitalism, and then every president since then, except for Trump, has doubled down on it. Bush, Clinton, you name it, just Obama.
And over those same 30 years, we've become more like China instead of them becoming more like us.
We are Paul and I talked about this probably a year ago. Between pharmaceutical and chip manufacturing, if China cut us off of those things, we would be in a world of hurt that nobody in America could understand. None.
Right.
Like I remember during COVID, and there was a slowdown in the supply chain. Thanks, Mayor Pete. And my brother had ordered a new Suburban, And he's like, they're like, we think 2 weeks. And he's like, great. And then they call him and he's like, they're like 4 weeks. He's like, okay. And then
6 months.
6 months goes by, 9 months goes by, and he's like, what the hell is the problem? He goes, we can't get the chips that control all the different things, like your power seat, your heated seat, we can't get any of that. So we have your truck built, waiting to just click a bunch of chips in. And he's like, cancel my order.
And guess what? When today was a sad day in some ways. When I buried my dog, and I confessed to you all that I cried because
Hell yeah.
it was like, that was my life, and I remembered all the dreams I had when I got the dog and all that. So I got a little emotional. Well, today the 2004 Expedition got towed out of the driveway and taken to its forever home. And that's the one where I would go to trade shows in Texas and come home with saddlebags full of $13,000, and $5 and $10 sales at a time, and
Hell
drive
yeah.
through the night. Oh yeah, drive through the Michigan State Fair, stay in the old Ford Hotel that's been overrun in Dearbornistan. Just one memory after another. Drive it out to Colorado to Beer City, only to find out last call was at 11:30. I mean, just but it was always that car, and everything fit in it. A big 2004 Expedition. I could carry
Oh yeah.
I could carry an entire booth full of shit in the car, and then bring back all of the fixtures and everything, plus the stuff I bought, in the back on the way back. And I thought, how amazing, that I just have this 8-cylinder engine that can take me across the country on a tank or two of gas for $50 each, and come back with that much money because of this little thing sitting under my hood can move me like that.
Right.
Just, it makes you proud to be a Western man. It really does.
Oh,
It's just, no
absolutely.
one could ever do that. No one. Not a commoner like me. I mean, I'm not a mover and shaker. I'm just a guy. I mean, I'm not a stupid guy, but I'm a guy. All
Well,
right.
and you're right, except for the upper class in elite Western Europe. They're all driving Chinese-made BYDs for 8 grand brand new, that run about 3 years and then die on the side of the road. That's
Right.
pretty typical.
And this one took me on my last ride last year in May, so it's been sitting where it was sitting today for about a year, and I didn't fantasize about fixing it because I knew that and here's a little personal John story about the salon. I knew that what I needed to do with it would come into focus at some point. And one of the gals up there, her car shot craps, and she asked if I knew where she could get a cheap car. And she says, my guy can come and get a car and fix it. He's my ex or whatever. I said, he drives a wrecker? She said, well, yeah. I said, okay. I said, I'll make you a deal. I
Yeah.
said, he can come and get this out of my driveway and just take it. And whatever he gets for it, he can give to you, so you can go get a different car. At least get started with that. And that'll do me a lot more good than that money would do any other way, because all I do is spend it on beer, cigars, or something like
Oh,
that.
sure.
Yeah. This will help enable someone to create wealth for me. So yeah, that's what that was all about. But they didn't listen to me, and this is actually funny. Uh, I got back, and he says, "Hey, do you have a broom?" And car's out in the street, and he says, "Yeah, it took me for a little ride." I said, "You didn't have the key?" He says, "Yeah, I know." He says, "But I didn't know it didn't have any brakes." I said, "Did you see the gallon of brake fluid sitting in sitting in the back?" I said, "Yeah, you kind of have to fill it up to have brakes." And that was the story I told you about how the brake lines cracked, and then I found out that the frame was cracked, and that's why the brake lines were cracked. So anything you poured in there, you could do a 10-minute trip, but by the time you got there, you didn't have
Right.
brakes.
Dude, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
funny part is that so many American middle class people, growing up in the, I don't know, 70s, 80s, 90s, that would be too young for me, but like that was normal to have your parent, one of your parents or your grandparents drive one of those type of things as a work
Yeah,
car, and they would put a quart of oil in it every time they filled gas up. They would fill up the brake cylinder every time they got gas, and that's just the way it was, so that you had a nicer car to tow the kids
right.
around in, and dad or mom, whoever worked closest, would
Would
take the
just get by.
clunker. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no air conditioning. I remember
Oh,
I had
I
a
wouldn't
80.
even dream of it. Yeah, last time
I
it had air conditioning was 19. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, unbelievable. I
How's
so
your
did you
ear?
much better,
All right,
much better. Did
keep
you
going.
Yeah, oh, totally, I'm gonna finish the course
Yeah,
for
right.
sure. Did you see this hilarious, the DEI lady, but she's the chief of police in DC, filed a suit, looking for an emergency injunction against Trump taking over for her.
Of course.
Did her lawyers not look at her when they filed the suit and say, "This is 100% constitutional"? Or did they say, "Oh my god, look at this easy money. Hell yeah, we'll take the case."
Right. Here's the retainer. Yeah, I'm sure there's some public employee legal defense fund or something that they
Right.
got the money from, right? So we can harass Trump. No, that's totally what happened. Just ambulance chasers.
Oh, that's what I figured it was, because I was
By the
like,
way, I can tell you got a lot more energy. So yeah, I can tell it's better. I'll quit asking now, okay?
"Yeah, no worries." But when I see this stuff and I go, "You know you are absolutely gonna get destroyed in court. You must not give a shit because the money's so good."
Yeah, yeah.
Dang it.
I well, and I keep seeing these DEI hires striding to the microphone anytime there's an incident, and you just know when they open their mouth, they're just going. It's going to be an advertisement for Trump to do exactly what he's doing because they know nothing about their job, and the idea that those people out there in LA still have their jobs in the water district. How can that be?
Well, and they've all been there since, DEI was called something different in the day. It was called affirmative action.
Yeah,
Uh,
or quota or whatever. Yeah.
right? They've all been doing this and living off this grift of government money, to do racism. It's racism, right? To deny
Well,
somebody else work, based on the color of their skin.
and that $7 trillion budget that we passed has all that stuff in it.
Ah, God, I know.
I mean, the NGO funding, all of that. That's what it's about. That's what it is. And the Congress, and I want to say again, a big shout out to you federal folks. I don't give federal employees credit often, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to repeat myself. Whoever was in the federal bureaucracy in the White House that realized that turning over what you had to Comer and Jim Jordan would have been a complete waste of time, and we would have never seen it again, and it would have disappeared. And to hide it in those burn bags and then tuck it away for Trump to find. We see you. We know you did that on purpose. And we know why
Absolutely.
you did it.
Brad,
Yeah.
I will buy you a steak right now. I will
Yeah, I take
absolutely
them
buy
out to
you a steak.
dinner. I mean, they're nothing but the finest. Thank you so much. I hear about the patriotic federal employees. I go, oh yeah, right. No, 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 no. Some of them are. You're right. You're right.
So I work for a quasi-federal agency. It doesn't matter which one. For like about 8 years, and I will tell you, the level of the way they put boots on necks if you don't play along, even if it goes against the code of federal regulations, or they're like find a way around it. Like they are pushing an agenda all the time at these agencies, no matter what. And if you disagree with them, they will squash you. And the reason I worked there when I got the job is because I was getting out of retail management. I had 3 kids. I'm missing, Little
Oh yeah.
League. I'm missing plays. I'm missing everything. I'm working 12-hour shifts on Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Oh yeah.
If the overnight guy takes a night off or takes a week off, who's covering it? Yeah, me. I'm the
You.
boss,
Yeah.
right? And so I was like, I got to get out of it. And the wife agreed. And so I moved into government purchasing or government procurement.
Oh my
And
God.
I was making about the same amount of money, so it was fine, but I had a day shift job and I had the same holidays off as the kids, so I could
Right.
be there while the wife was a nurse, and she had to work whenever she had to work. So, but I was always off on school off days, right? Except for like summers or things like that. We
Sure.
it do oh my god, it was they were so aggressive. Like they legally can't tell you to do this, but they're like, we need you to clean up your Facebook profile. There's way too much Donald Trump stuff on there. We're just warning you now. They're like, "Yeah, make sure you clear that up by next week." And I did. I literally did
Oh, you
because
had
the
to. Yeah.
job was supporting a family of 5.
Sure. There was a guy who Peter Schweitzer had him on. And by the way, Peter Schweitzer's star. I mentioned Megyn Kelly and her podcast, but Schweitzer, his podcast isn't quite as compelling, but it's meaty. And Eric Eggers is a little ferret, but that's not important. But Schweitzer really brings the goods, and he interviewed a guy last year that encountered just what you're talking about in his agency, and he was Trumpy, and he wanted to fix some things and all that and whatever, and he got everything you just said, and he wrote a book, and I'm going to plug it right now because I bought it because I was impressed and I felt bad for him, called Masters of Corruption. And it laid out the tactics that you encountered. I should send it to you because you'll read it and you'll feel like it was
It's
you.
like, "Oh, fuck, this is me. This is exactly what I went through." And I
Yeah,
guarantee if I ever had a conversation with him, we would have the same story from a different agency.
right. And the names would be different, but the situation would be exactly the same. And he bothered to write it down. I know the book didn't sell a lot, but I thought he had some balls to stand up to it, and I thought he deserved my support, so I bought him.
Oh,
Bought the book.
absolutely. I buy books sometimes from people I like. And I don't know if I've even opened them yet, but I just want to give them
Right.
that support.
Yeah, I've by the way, for what it's all worth, I've thrown out all my Mark Levin books.
Fair. Yeah. Dude, what is he doing? Like,
I have no idea. He's like a washed up Ben Shapiro. It's the
right?
same. It's the same act.
I think like I there was a time that I would listen to him on late night radio. Absolutely. And
Religiously.
they bumped him. They bumped him out of daytime. They bumped him out of afternoon drive. They obviously never put him up against Rush.
No,
So he did afternoon drive on like national radio, and then I would go from Rush to Levin to whoever the local one was that did the 7 to 8 o'clock show, which is usually local and a little more goofy
right.
and news, and finally get home and turn on the stupid propaganda box uh, at the time. But dude, like, is all he could say is Jews with 19 O's? Like, that's all Levin thinks about right now.
He's really gone well past the. He's gone around the bend, and it's all he talks about. And I wonder if it's as he's facing his own mortality, if he's trying to struggle with the idea that he is one, and he's worried that Israel isn't going to survive. I've got news for him. They're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean they're better positioned now than they've ever been to become an actual player in the Middle East. I don't see how the Middle East goes on without them. They're actually a force for stability now. And love them or hate them, and I can tell you, I can't stand Mossad. I can't stand their tactics, and I hate uh, I hate the idea that my heroes, the congressional Republicans, say, "Hey, we're going to take August and go to our districts," and they all go to Tel Aviv.
Sure.
And someone says, "What are they doing over there?" I said, "Well, they said they're going to their district." I said, "They're there."
Yeah, you know what? AIPAC, AIPAC needs
Oh,
to register as a foreign agent. They really do, and I hope somebody in Trump's cabinet forces that to happen. But
well, I mean, if listen, if they're going to declare the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, anything is possible.
dude,
You
but the
know,
funny part is AIPAC is so anti-Israel. No. They are in the way they fund candidates.
right?
Right? They say we're the American Israeli PAC, Political Action Committee. They have nothing to do with Israel. They
Well,
fund
let's just say that
anti-Israel candidates.
they contribute just like Bill Ackman did before he realized he was white,
Yep.
much to his dismay. Yes.
Oh God, Ackman. Do you remember when he thought he was the Republican Party, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden he found out the internet exists, and we're like, we don't like you at all.
No. And why would we when you're subsidizing anti-white hate in the Ivy League? Why would we like you?
Oh man, man, the
Hey,
it was
just for what it's speaking of him, I can't think of him without thinking of Peachy Keenan, who I love as an author. I don't know if you've
uh,
ever
dude, I bought that domestic extremist book. I haven't read
yeah.
it. But another book I
Okay.
haven't read, but I love Peachy.
If you want to fall in love with her even further, look up her article on. I think it was called Unfortunate Son. It was about Rittenhouse during the trial and what the cultural implications were of what was happening to him.
Is that on her
It,
Substack? Because I follow her
yeah,
Substack. Okay,
yeah.
I'll look
It's in
for it.
America. I think in American Mind too, or American Greatness, one or the other. But it probably should still be in the archive. Sean, that I swooned. I said, okay, there's women like this in the world. Okay, and there's still a chance
Dude,
because I mean she saw it. She saw the
she
whole thing.
is a like if you talk about a cultural trad wife, she is
Yes,
the icon of that, and says,
right,
"Yes, I can still have a career. I can still do all my writing and my media, my social media, but my focus first is my family,
my
all my
family.
beautiful babies, and I wish I could make more babies."
Right. One last thing. I think if you asked her today, based on what I've seen from her since the fire, I bet she tells you that she wishes her house would have burned down too so she could move. Because her house was
Ugh.
spared and it's no fun being there anymore at all. She's talking about moving back to New York City.
I
And
will.
I,
I can
I
only
said,
imagine. I can
they
only
need
imagine.
you. Go
No,
ahead.
we do need her, and we need her in California. There was a friend I used to talk to a lot online, and he was we talked about the flight from California, and he said, I would like to actually reverse that so that we can take California back red. And he says it was always red until Reagan's mass amnesty. It was always red. And he goes, it's probably red now, but the corruption is so bad.
If he could straighten out elections, it'd be a lot redder.
If you could just, right, if you could, whatever, ID, whatever it is, get illegals
Anything.
off, anything,
Anything.
it would flip red so fast. Because if, from my experience with California, it's red. But
Yeah.
they can't win, even though they do try and they show up to vote. And then the bean counters go, oh, whoops.
Anytime
Whoop.
the race takes more than 2 weeks to count, they
It
win.
was like 6 weeks last in 24. 6 weeks.
They're not counting ballots, they're casting ballots. That's what they're doing at that point.
Oh, 1,000% agree. I heard an interesting comment today on the radio. I listened to a guy, not an advertisement, not a plug, but I listened to a guy named Tony Katz. He's a syndicated 12 to 3. That's just kind of where I've gravitated to since we lost Rush. Clay and Buck don't do it for me. They were
No,
both Biden voters.
awful.
It makes no sense to me why Bo Snerdley would have agreed to it. He probably didn't agree to it as they made the transfer of the EIB properties. But so I was listening to Tony today, and he said Gavin Newsom, after holding that rally, he goes, I looked at him and said, holy shit, he's not running for president. And of course, the audience is all like, what? He goes, no, he's running for emperor. He's
yeah. And did you see what Homan did? ICE raided that rally.
Okay, it was so good. The videos, from people.
Karen Bass. Oh my
god! The videos from the cell phone videos of the ICE arrests. Oh my god! I could listen. I will watch those all day long. I wish, man, maybe I should do it. Maybe I need to collect all of them, put them onto one. I can create a channel on our Orange Podcast Bad thing.
Yeah,
and that way people could just play them in a loop.
I think ICE raids. People want to see them. Yeah, and I'm surprised Dr. Phil didn't follow up and keep doing that.
I totally agree, and I'm telling you, there would be. I'm betting you could pull 2 or 3 million viewers, eyeballs a day if you did a 1 hour show. Just a 1 hour show. If you do 2 hours,
what do you think?
Dude. Well, but we would have to have the original footage if we were going to do it. But
you could put out you could ask for it. See if people send it to you.
Yeah, I could. You're right. I could ask if they'd give me the rights, as long as I mention their name.
Yeah.
Dude, there's.
But that could bring some engagement, Sean.
The problem is, right, I would have to sit in front of the computer 24 hours a day.
you remember the Don Henley song, How Bad Do You Want It?
Right. Well, yeah, that's true.
I have to give up chasing tail on weekends a little bit,
Right, to compile. Well, because I could compile all the videos. I've got the software for that.
I know.
I have to get them. I have to see them first. I have to get them.
My friend Wesley, who's kind of my other brain in terms of the internet, he's been playing and buying a lot of different AI search. I bet he'd be willing to kick in and see what he can come up with using a lead search to see if there's a quick way.
Like we'd want the videos from just that day and then compile them all.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a thing. Could be a thing.
I can't imagine something that people would want to watch more.
Dude, there's gonna be a market. Look, well, just like Cops was a very successful
Yes.
show, and now Fox Station. No, I don't pay for it. Uh, has a very successful Cops style show. I
Yeah.
think.
But nobody's gonna touch this.
I think Ice Raids. I think you'd have eyeballs. The comment section would be the gold mine because there'd be all the people talking about how ICE is violating rights, and then the other
Right.
side would say, "No,
Right.
no rights were violated."
It'd be
And
the hottest cast. It'd be the hottest cast on the
like
internet.
you wouldn't be able to keep up with the comments coming in. Insane.
And it's like, why is the Cuban communist so upset? Look at her head bobbing.
Well, we can answer that, but the
Yeah.
liberal white women will never understand. They
Yeah.
came here illegally. Well, they have human rights. No, they
No.
don't. Where in the
Well, I mean,
show me anywhere in the 7 articles and the 26 amendments that says foreigners have rights inside the soil of America.
none. Zero.
No, none.
I mean, and I keep hearing all this from these judges about due process for deportation. What due process did they follow coming here?
None.
Zero.
None. And Trump's team with Homan and with all of them, they've gone overboard to provide due process and verify, which is why the detention centers keep popping up, because
Right.
now we have to do that.
Did you hear about the new one in Florida? Deportation Depot in Jacksonville. Yeah.
So I like it, but I thought so. Alligator Alcatraz was a great name. I think they need somebody who's like just hip to culture to name these things, because the one in Indiana, they're naming what is it? The Speedway Slammer. This one's the
That's
Depot.
not bad.
Yeah, but like if they just like had somebody that watched social media, they would know everyone in Indiana goes, no, it's the Cornfield Clink. Indiana,
Okay, yeah,
with Gordon Corn,
the Cornfield Clink, right?
right?
Or maybe the Ozark Outpost for Missouri, right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
Although in Texas it would have to be Colony Ridge, right? Just put up a fence around Crenshaw's little town there where he's mayor and just start shipping them off.
Right.
You know that son of a bitch is in bed with those developers and all that. Yeah, there's the Republicans in Texas are so dirty.
I hate Crenshaw. All I'm saying is there is someone that is between the age of 16 and 40 who has a good feel about the state they live in and what
Right.
people think, and they could market this even better and make people have fun with it. People could make merch. They would. Cornfield Clink, I'm telling you, just as a former Hoosier of 45 years, Cornfield Clink is exactly what they want, and they're refusing to call it the Speedway Slammer.
Jayhawk Jail.
Yes. Yeah.
Or Sooner Slammer in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Play with it. Northern Florida.
New Mexico, Aztec Auschwitz.
well, I'm trying to think of the Northern Florida one. I go,
Gator.
Here I got it. You think you're in Alabama, but you're going home.
Yeah. I can see that.
Thanks for joining. We started late. All good. I haven't heard
See
from
the
the Canuck in a couple days. He keeps
uh,
he
he's
really likes that DM group with the ABBA guy.
I know he won't be watching this. It bores me to tears. I just
I have it on mute. I just
okay,
happen to
all right.
see it every once in a while. But I don't like any DM groups. Apparently he
No,
does. And whatever, he has fun with it. He could have come in here. Instead, he's probably playing in the DM group. Whatever.
I haven't. I have notifications off, so I don't know. It's very
Yeah, no,
distracting.
I
It
did the
just
same thing. I muted
uh,
it
uh,
so that like because
yeah,
I hate when my phone goes off 5,000 times an hour for
no,
something
it's
I
very
don't need to
distracting.
look at. I just don't need it. So all right, let's close it out. You gonna be back Monday or are you coming back Tuesday?
I'll probably do have to do Tuesday. I think I have to close the salon on Monday. But here's the thing: if services wrap up early on Monday, I can make it. If I'm stuck at the front desk, I really can't. Or it'll be like me on that Nick show where I can't really participate right with as
Sure.
fast as this goes. Yeah.
No problems at all. I was just checking. All right, let's see if this.
Oh, well, tonight we're breaking in somebody new at the desk, and she's one of the new good people that I talked about. You know, the twice divorced gal, not the one that's getting the proceeds from the wrecker, but she's talking about getting a new place because she can't stand her husband either. I'm just like, gals, you're some of the most unhappy people on earth. You know.
I listen, in all the years I spent in retail management, the amount of oversharing that they tell to the guy in charge or the girl in charge,
Oh,
it's
oh,
and you take it like we all take it, but we're like, I don't know that I needed to know about your feminine hygiene problem. It
or the
unless it's going to affect your work and we need to adjust like your work.
or the idea that your weight loss surgery caused this what could be what delicately referred to as dumping.
I
So the employee bathroom door closes for 90 minutes.
Right, and you're like, "I
Yeah,
listen, I can't pay you for that. I can't
yeah, right.
by
No.
law, I can't pay you for that." I had it one of the saddest ones I had was, mentally, let's say disabled guy,
Yeah,
very, he worked for that drugstore for, like, 15 years. We had him stock because
yeah,
he couldn't really help customers. And we were giving it, we got him up to full time, 32 hours. So he had health insurance, things like that. But he made a pass at one of our older lady employees,
oh
and
no,
that she told us, and we said, okay, we're aware. And then she was doing some stocking for us before she had to go up to work like a main register. And he kissed her on the lips, and we had to fire him. And his mom and dad came in and said, he's never going to be able to get a job anywhere else. This is all he knows. He's not capable. All he knows is how to do what you guys. And we're like, we can't do it. We can't do it. We're sorry. We can't tell you much about what the process was to decide to fire him, but we cannot have him working here anymore. It
yeah,
like even the lady
devastating.
that was assaulted by him, assault, legal term. I mean, it was an unwanted kiss.
Unwanted advance.
She cried when she saw us walk him out to his parents' van because everybody loved him. He just he was not capable at that point of controlling whatever was going on with him that made him do that. Couldn't have them.
I understand. We had a similar sad thing happening right now. I met an older gal that I told you that, has been driving on a suspended license and been, playing with fire. Well, it turns out somebody didn't renew their service provider license either.
Oh,
And I caught her, and she said she's texting me, "Can I come in?" I said,
no.
"No, no." And it's not my call. We actually are training apprentices. We get inspected all the time, and all that needs to happen is my enemies need to find out that somebody's here without a license, and I'm finished. All this work, yeah, all goes down the drain. Because the fact is, the authorities aren't going to give me a break. They're not.
No.
Kidding?
No, and that's
I mean,
the thing.
even ones who haven't seen this show.
Well, and that's the thing. As employers, we have a lot of legal responsibilities and stupid state regulations we all have to follow. And sometimes you lose people. I can think of hundreds of people that I've lost, but they did it to themselves. But you still feel
Almost always do.
awful for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Awful.
Well, that's what this is. I mean, she helped me when this is the same gal that I mentioned to you that, should I call her? She knows where everything is. She's 77. All those stories I've told you, it was her, and she's out. And
Yeah,
okay,
it's the way it is. I
and
mean, sucks. But
sucks.
I'm also not working in the affirmative action department in the government and say, don't worry about it. I
No,
have
it's
to
not.
follow
It's
the
fair.
law because otherwise I'm going to get fined out of business, or somebody's going to sue me out of business, or you name all the things that can happen bad to me if I don't terminate that employment.
That's right. It's not a maybe. It's a will. You get busted with this, and the inspector has a mind to do it, and they'll do it. And I've had them in my place, and I know this guy's from Central Unit of Investigations, and his purpose here today is to, shutter the windows, and so yeah, I've faced that. Yeah.
I've had to play with the DEA. We put an employee in prison. Oh no, it doesn't. It's not as fun as you sound. Yeah, you got a criminal off the street. Yeah, was she a
No.
criminal? Sure, but she was also an employee that, like, the entire store. We probably had
Love.
60 staff there who loved and had no idea until a pharmacist alerted us that every time she was in the pharmacy to help as a backup, and all the assistant managers had to be CPHTs by law. So she was back there legally, but she was pocketing controlleds. And man, when we dug into the numbers, she was at like 140 grand in 6 months worth of controlled she stole.
Yeah.
She went to prison.
You had no choice.
It is what it is. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. I can't, dude. I've got to take care of my family. I can't just say, "Oh, sorry."
Well, that's what I keep trying to tell everybody else is, they're talking about these things that are going on in Washington, and if you or I did anything remotely close to this, you do hard time.
Oh
Hard time.
yeah. I will bring to the case as we close out Martha Stewart, celebrity.
Yes.
She did what's considered insider trading, and Congress and Senate do it all day,
All
day.
the time. All the time. I mean, Martha Stewart went to prison and Nancy Pelosi doesn't.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Let's close it out, man. Thanks. I had fun. Go on.
All right.
One more.
Now, I'm just going to say the whole Epstein thing really isn't about child abuse. It's about two-tier justice.
Yeah.
And a nation with two-tier justice isn't free.
1,000%. Thanks, Thanks, John. Appreciate it.